Hi, everyone, and welcome to Product Talks, where we cover all things product at Kontent.ai, the what, the why, and the AI. In today's episode, we're going to take you through the product release highlights of this year. So what are the newest features that help our customers drive more efficient content operations, reduce risk, and speed up their content's time to value? So I'm Monica, and I head up product marketing. I'm coming to you from Prague, and I'm joined by my colleagues, Martin and Chris.
Hello everyone, my name is Martin. I'm the VP of Product and I'm also in Czech Republic, but in Brno.
Chris Janning, I'm out of Chicago. I head up the pre-sales team and content strategy.
Great. So we're breaking up this year's releases into three major themes. So you'll hear us talk about today the really insane amount of value we've brought with our AI accelerators. Really looking forward to sharing more about that. Additionally, how we're bringing greater visibility into content operations so that teams can drive efficiency. And last but not least, how we're helping customers manage large volumes of content. And a bonus segment, we'll also share a sneak peek of what's coming soon. I mean, we have Martin on the call, might as well get his expertise. So we will get into it. Martin, as our VP of Product, I'd love for you to kick off today with your vision around those AI accelerators we've been really delivering at a quick pace this year.
Yeah, 2024 was quite a big year for us. We've actually released more than 40 times this year. And if we were to cover all the releases, we'd be here like a couple of hours. We will not do that. But a significant portion of the product improvements we've launched this year were centered around AI. And whenever I talk about AI, people are thinking, hey, in content, AI means just creation. And I always try to give them a different perspective because for us here at Kontent.ai, AI is not about taking the creative part of your jobs and of your clients' jobs or of your team's jobs. It's more about accelerating the other stuff that you do. So I always like to say that we focus on the chores so you can focus on the creative part, and we do the heavy lifting. So we've released a lot of improvements that in the end accelerate the whole content workflow as one process. And I believe great examples of such functionalities are, for example, our AI translations that really help you to go from one language to multiple languages in a matter of seconds, or the latest release from this acceleration track is our review with AI functionality that takes your internal content guidelines and uses it to actually review the content for you, and it even provides you suggestions according to the guidelines. So you can not only instantly get your content reviewed, but you also get suggestions how it can be improved, and it will take you a couple of seconds to significantly improve your work, reduce the amount of handovers back and forth, and get your content ready on time. So this is where we were focusing. And Chris, you've showed it to our clients. What were the reactions?
So it's been a fun year for it because we a lot of excitement right out of the gate in terms of wanting to be able to demonstrate it and talk to customers about where we're going and what we're doing. And the initial what I like about our evolution here is where we started and where we're going, and the trajectory as far as where we're going. And what I mean by that is that Martin already said it was all about creation, and our initial kind of conversations around it was very similar capabilities to what you could do with the Chat GPT or even a Perplexity. It was all about creating text or creating images or writing things for me. But when working with content management, that's really not what a content editor wants, right? They want to write and be able to create on their own. That's essentially what they do. And so the evolution here in terms of moving towards more action-based AI accelerators, meaning review my content, do a translation for me. These are things that the writer is able to request the engine to do for them that will help them create more easily. So they still get to do what they do best in terms of creation, but now the accelerators are there to help expedite and speed up that process and make it easier. So it's the new capabilities that we've released are causing much more eyebrow raises than the creative pieces that we originally did. So I think a lot of our customers are starting to understand, the underlying value of AI with the CMS is much more than just the creation aspect.
I can 100% attest to that. As a I would say use the platform a fair bit as both like a manager who's checking in on content, but also writing. And the review content with AI against our own style guides is great because we've got two pieces to that. One is our actual style guide, which is really focusing on plain language, removing technical jargon, speaking to business outcomes. So the AI can quickly check and provide recommendations when we're getting a little bit too I don't know, using bigger words that we really shouldn't be doing. The AI can provide great recommendations based on the inputs in our style guide. We also have a forbidden words list in our team. So things like the word struggling or overwhelming, content chaos, things that like show that maybe people have a personal problem. We want to really focus more on like operational or challenges within processes. So the review guidelines even flag these specific words, which is nice because then you don't have to spend the time really digging into those tiny things. You have a person checking on your forbidden words for you, basically your AI assistant, which really does speed up things in terms of the reviews. Another thing I wanted to mention, Chris, you brought up a good point around like what's the thing we want to expedite as content writers. It's the kind of boring stuff. Martin, you also mentioned the heavy lifting. We have some folks in our team who love to use our AI to format text into tables, because for me, that's like super annoying. But the AI can do it much more quickly than I can. So I want to focus my time on creating great messages, saying things that matter, not formatting tables. So I think that's a fantastic way that we're shifting the narrative from content creation to being that actual assistant, that helper.
Yeah, and sometimes these small things have compounding effects.
Yeah.
One feature that I really love is our ability to generate metadata for assets. And now, if you think about average organization, they have quite a lot of assets in the asset library. Could be a couple of hundreds or even thousands. And now a very common thing that happened in these organizations is like they forget to fill the metadata field, which is definitely useful and sometimes even mandatory for various reasons. Could be SEO optimization and other. But now imagine that you're the editor that is in charge of that, and you realize that, oh, there are hundreds of items that don't have this metadata, and I need to have it in multiple languages. That was a nightmare before. Now it's a matter of one click. And with simple click, you have it generated and instantly translated into all other language variants. So that's a significant amount of time saved.
Yeah, you also mentioned the fact that sometimes it's a requirement, so you can't really skip that step, but if you don't have the time to do it, then it can really cause bottlenecks. So we've looked at AI. We're really excited about the AI accelerators that have come, and we'll look in the future later in this product talks about some things that are on the way. But I also wanted to make sure we talk about an awesome highlight around measuring actually the operational efficiency that things like AI or improved workflows are bringing you. So we did a product talks around this recently. Chris, you were joining me on that one, related to mission control as our new home base in the platform. Martin, would you kick off a little bit of the business context around mission control, what it does, and why we're really happy we're bringing it to customers?
Yeah, mission control was a great success for us. And I believe the reason for it is that we really materialized the need organizations have, because mission control works with data organizations don't know they have. And what I mean by that is oftentimes when you talk to content teams, they focus on conversions and views and these kind of metrics, and they have plethora of analytics tools to do that, but they don't really see and they don't have the insights into their content teams, into their content inventories, and overall into their content operations. And when we are talking to clients about how they work with their teams, this was a common problem. So our mission control is answer to that, to provide that insights, provide that one dashboard to show them, hey, this is happening in the system, this is happening in your content operations, and over time build something that will be the signpost of where you log in and you see where your attention needs to go. So you, for example, see, hey, there are some items that might be, critically delayed. That's the area where I need to focus my attention, or I need to reassign some work, or hey, everything is fine, I can still have 15 minutes for my coffee. So have this one place where you get the intelligence about your content operations. And it's been a massive hit from my perspective, based on the conversations I had with the clients, and I believe this is something you need to demarket. So Chris, again, you've been showing it to our clients as well. So what was the reception of that?
So I absolutely love dashboards, especially when you first open up any type of application, something on my phone, or even a platform I'm obviously using for work. There's no better way to start kind of your day. And you mentioned a really good key point there is it's the data that they don't know that they have, and a good dashboard answers the questions that I wasn't planning to ask. Right, so I don't know if you've looked at Apple Health lately, but I got lost in there the other day in terms of the amount of data that it's able to collect just by me carrying it in my back pocket all the time. There's visualizations all over the place. And one thing that jumped out at me was I'm taking about 100 less steps on average per day than I was this time last year. To me, that's trending in the wrong direction, and it puts a little bug in my head to take the stairs. Right, just little simple things, and it's just a simple little piece of information. And so, mission control is the health of the content management system. And so and a good example is how many tasks am I completing on time? I'm completing less this month than I was last month. Or how many items am I publishing on time? Again, that is trending in the wrong direction. So that puts that little bug in my head. Like, okay, I have a task assigned to me. Do it, right? Let's see if I can get my own KPIs up and get add more steps so that visualization is trending in the right direction. So, and in terms of adoption, I kick off every conversation with mission control because I want to splash the users with something to kind of start their day. They can envision starting their day with this dashboard, but there's 6 tabs in there, so it's it's a lot to cover in a half-hour conversation. So what I try to do is understand what would be important to that user as far as what's going on inside the CMS, because their initial reactions, oh, this is interesting, look, all these different tabs. But once I narrow down into, let's say, content pace, like, let's look at the workflows, that's when the eyebrows raise. Oh, okay, now I can actually drill into the individual steps. This is important to me. So, adoption is, we talked about this in the product talks, it's more of a crawl before you run. It's like, what tab is important to me? Get used to using that. If that's the only place you land, that's fine, but there's other areas that you can begin to explore as you get more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that you bring up, in the fact that you don't have to overhaul your operations all at once. That's just a recipe for burnout, or you're not going to get done what you need to get done. But if you can make those small iterative changes, step by step by step, and improve little by little, 100 steps, as you say, you need to get in your health app. Over time, that'll build up, and you'll see the value of your efforts of just making those small changes. As a user of Kontent.ai myself, I like that it provides two views, sort of that micro view of my individual tasks performance, where I'm delayed, what I need to respond to, and then that macro view of, is our content moving through its workflows in the content pace fast enough? Or one of the other things I really like is seeing the long-term view of content. This is great for auditing. Like, do I have content that's been in draft for 200 days? Should I revisit that or should I delete it? Is there an opportunity for me to refresh that old idea, or is it something that we're not even covering anymore? Or even published items that haven't been changed for many, many days. Is that something that's okay, that it's a stable piece of content, or should I revisit it and refresh it? One for, content relevancy, or two for compliance reasons. So I really like that it can help you decide not only where you need to focus attention on like urgent issues, but also how can I sort of plan and prioritize my content plan over the next couple weeks, couple months, couple quarters. So so far, A+ from me, Martin.
Awesome.
Cool. So we wanted to make sure that this product talks brings a little something for everybody. So we've also been hard at work ensuring that our CMS supports the ambition and the scale and the technical requirements of our large enterprise teams. So we want to shift focus from the content operations and content management side of things and go into this story of scale and complexity. So Martin, again, if you don't mind kicking off our next section,
Sure.
we'd love to have you.
Sure. So with improvements to the technical audience, it's always a bit trickier because they're usually not visible or not that visible as the changes in the UI, but let me assure there was a plenty this year as well. Overall, we've been working really hard on improving the overall, and I think I can say manageability on the technical side of things. There were some really large releases this year. One of the most important ones, and also one that we got a lot of feedback on, very grateful feedback, is our new data ops tooling that really simplifies the way how you can synchronize content between different environments and also how you can handle migrations. So really bread and butter of every developer working with any CMS, but we really wanted to streamline the work of developers working with Kontent.ai and with the settings. And I know this was a long awaited. Chris, you've also shared it with some of clients. What do you think about this release, this one?
So in a year and a half here at Kontent.ai, I have not been on one customer call where they said, we're installing a CMS for the first time. We didn't have one before. So every customer we speak to, there is going to require a migration. You're going to have to move their existing content models, content items, etc., from one environment or environments to ours. It's just a necessary part. And customers are typically very concerned about this. Like they don't want to lose all of their work. They want to make sure the integrity is maintained. They envision it as a really time-consuming and tedious process because historically it has been. It's not an easy lift and shift. So the migration capabilities in the data ops tooling is massive. We're able to, with confidence, say that we can easily migrate content items from one environment to another. You can see this in an actual UI to where you can see the difference between one content item and another, and then you can make a decision, right? Which one am I maintaining, which one am I not? Same thing with content modeling and the back end piece of it as well. And then the initial implementation as well is just making that shift from a legacy or a previous CMS so much easier. So it's a much more comfortable conversation just to be able to say, yeah, we have tooling that will help you with the migration versus putting it on them. This is part of the implementation. Every CMS is different. There's a lot of different ways that you can dance around it, but now we can just with confidence say, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
I'll go for it.
sorry. And I think it's also a tool that is going to evolve. We're not finished there. We're going to add more capabilities based on the client's feedback and reception. So it will be able to do much more in the future.
Martin, are there any other call outs that you wanted to make for our technical audiences this year?
Yeah, I will not name all the API improvements because again, we would be here a couple of hours, but there was plenty. One other, I would call it visible thing that you will see in the application is an ability to create your custom applications, so full-sized applications that can be accessible directly from the UI, which is our evolution of the integrability story. It again gives engineers actually the flexibility to support more of the business needs, because you are now able to create and connect other applications more easy and create more smooth experiences. So I'm also very excited about this one because this was quite requested as well. And there was a lot of small tweaks every across the whole engineering experience, but we've also worked quite heavily on improving the learning experience when it comes to the engineering experience. So there's a lot of new samples, a lot of new documentation pieces, whether that's in our Learn portal or at our public repository. So I really encourage our viewers to go and check what's new there, because we've been working hard to make the usability on the engineering side as smooth as possible.
Awesome. I also wanted to definitely mention and make a call out to another product talks episode that we had on the data ops tooling, specifically with my colleague Jordan and Rostya and Yerka. They really go into the nitty-gritty details. So I will share that up on the screen, and you guys can dive into that tool. As Chris said, it's been massive for our customers. So before we close out this year, it's been nice to reflect on the past. It's been quite a year, pretty exciting stuff, but we're already looking forward at what's coming. So Martin, please, would you mind giving us a first look at the vision for next year? What's coming soon?
Yes, we're gonna change the world. I'm just joking, but I always like to say that we're changing the content management world one step at a time, and we definitely have two large areas in mind that we wanna, I will say boldly, redefine. The first area is very common pain area for a lot of companies, which is content discoverability. So if we again think about average company and their content repository, they have a lot of content. Common pressure today for organizations is that they want to produce more content and faster, which means they have more content. But the problem is, how do you actually manage your content in your content management? And one of the related problems to this is, how do you find the right content? So one of the improvements that we are again planning to introduce in the very few upcoming weeks is our new semantic search that will again take the searchability of content to the new level. It will make it much easier, and it will expand the search capabilities. And Chris, I know that you have a lot of background in the search area. So what do you think is going to be the reception?
Really excited about this, because every implementation typically involves two search boxes, two different types of search boxes. You've got the search box that sits on the front end. It's what your customers, is what your end users will engage with. We integrate with best of breed there, tools like Coveo, Algolia, et cetera. They know what they're doing with search. So that's part of typically every implementation on the front end. But what's typically overlooked is the search box that's inside the tool. And this is not just, and this is other platforms I've worked in too, is that if you've got a large amount of content, and we encourage these large repositories because we can easily organize these large repositories. That's what we're looking for. But being able to find that in terms of inside of the CMS, it's usually like an Elasticsearch implementation, a real basic search box up top, full text search. You're searching the title and maybe a few fields inside of the actual content item. And then you've got some filters on the left-hand side, which will help you. But using AI here, that actually will now place the internal search that the content editors are going to be using on par with the external search. If not, maybe even challenge for maybe a more compelling user experience. So it's going to spoil content editors as far as, for the first time, giving them a real search box to use for their purposes that lives exclusively inside the CMS.
Yeah, and all in natural language, which is really powerful.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, if you can't find something, you're just like, all right, I'm gonna create it again, or and that really goes against the idea of being content first, promoting content reuse, making sure content is consistent. And if folks are just duplicating things or re-uploading things, it creates additional bloat. We want to have large content repositories, but should be valuable content that you can draw from and that you're actually using, not just duplicates because you couldn't find what you were looking for and you gave up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being a little bit spoiled here.
And another thing that will actually help you, which brings me nicely to the other part, is we also want to provide not only you, Monica, but our clients with some additional insights. As I mentioned, Mission Control was an amazing first step in the direction of providing clients with some actionable information. We want to expand on that and heavily, and we want to provide with insights regarding the inventory itself. So you can more easily identify content that needs your attention, that needs some revision, that maybe is past its expiration date, and things like that. So really give you some auditing insights to really make that management part really manageable, and so that your content inventory doesn't grow exponentially every year, but you actually have a clear understanding what is in there, what needs your attention, maybe what needs deletion after all, or archiving. So this is the area we really see a lot of organizations struggling with, and this is where we want to help them. Again, in a fashion that we want to take care of the chores and they can still focus on the creative part. So really want to target their attention to what really needs their attention.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like we got a busy couple of weeks, months ahead of us. Is there anything else either of you wanted to share as we wrap up today?
I think we still need to keep some secrets. So there will be more releases. We definitely want to keep the high pace. I always encourage everyone to check the product changelog regularly. There's a lot of new releases coming essentially every 2 weeks. So please subscribe to it. You can. But yeah, I'm happy about the direction and really excited about what the future holds for us.
Great. I also wanted to draw everyone's attention to our latest guide about content audits. Martin touched on that, and we have a lot of practical insights to, how do you even start something when it feels like such a gigantic task? You have such a large repository, you're not quite sure what's in there. We provide you some insights on how to think about it and get started, and then you'll have a platform like Kontent.ai to support you there. In addition to our product updates changelog, we also have a What's New page that you can check out to see some of the info on the greatest releases. Right now, there's a fantastic video from Chris about Mission Control. It gives you a great tour. So definitely dive into that as well. All in all, thanks so much for the time today. And we wish you a great end of the year and a great start to next year. So have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thanks all.